Muscle cars, ladies and gentlemen, are a dying breed. We know they're out there, we see them in garages, and we see them, you know, at car shows every now and then. But the one place that you rarely actually see them is here. You don't see them ripping through the desert at 80 or 90 miles an hour. And you sure as hell don't see them taking a 2,500-mile road trip across the United States to the Woodward Dream Cruise. Now, to start off the House of Muscle, we wanted to do something epic. We figured, what could we do that's going to blow the minds of everybody? Well, sitting in my garage is this car. This is a 1969 Dodge Daytona. Now, it is a clone. Some people are going to bitch, but I don't care.
In our convoy, we have two vehicles, a Dodge Charger Hellcat and the 69 Daytona. One old, and more importantly, one new in case the old one breaks down.
Up in the Hellcat up there, we have Pat Devereaux. I'm sure he's nice and comfortable. He probably's got the AC on about 72. My eyes right now are going two places, in the road in front of us and the temperature gauge. Because this car, once it gets really hot, it doesn't like it. It just doesn't like it. We're at Benton gas station. I don't even know what time we're in. We pulled off, and it seems like one of our big fans took a crap. No, went up to 290. It went up to 220.
We started at 170.
Well, it is now, but as soon as we start, it's going to go back up to 220. Car went up to 220 degrees. We pulled over and trying to cool it off, but it's over 100 degrees out now, and it's just a question of if it is the relay, can we pull a relay from somebody else and fix it, or can we just wire it to the battery to see if the actual fan hasn't actually taken a dump but works? This was my biggest fear, that something on the car was going to crap out and leave us stranded literally in the middle of nowhere. We have to let it cool. We just don't.
You have connectors and wire?
Yeah.
Hook it up.
The best part about this is we have a column. When you have a column, you could pretty much guarantee that your stuff's going to be fixed and you will get to your destination. Everybody should have a column, by the way. Everybody. Every woman should have a column too. That's a plug.
That's junk.
What the hell was that?
That is the connector for the fan.
Oh, dude, it's totally melted.
Yeah, look.
So anytime I go on a road trip, I have what I call my, for all intents and purposes, we'll call it my O-Pit kit. It's got wiring, it's got clamps, it's got hoses, it's got fuel line, it's got a whole bunch of stuff. And when we first did this trip, Colin kind of looked at it and he was like, you probably don't need to bring this. But yet I did need to bring it.
The things we do for our cars.
O-Pit kit.
Are you ready for this?
Switch. Hey! What do we have? So we have two working fans? Two working fans and a column. Tell me we're not going to get there.
So one of my favorite things about this car is that it's a great example of a time when an automotive manufacturer just said, screw it. It's actually pretty indicative of how Dodge is today these days. Like the next thing you know, you can buy a Charger with 707 horsepower. It passes all 50 state emissions, it gets decent mileage, and it's crazy reliable. This is a perfect example of that, is this car. You look at the Hellcat, you look at the Charger Hellcat, the Challenger Hellcat, Dodge is just reinventing itself, and they're having that moment again. They're having that you know what, screw it. Let's build the coolest stuff we can and put it out there.
So I gotta be honest, right now I'm pretty excited. I'm standing in front of a bucket list location for me. Behind me is the Goldfield Hotel. Now, if you are a Dodge or a Mopar guy, you know that the Goldfield Hotel was the home of Super Soul from the movie Vanishing Point. His radio station, WKOW, was right there, right there.
This is amazing.
And like Super Soul said, man, speed means freedom of the soul. That's why we came here. So apparently the Goldfield Hotel is not the only cool thing in Goldfield, Nevada. This is the International Car Forest of the Last Church, and it's an art installation. Now, we've got 40 cars that are buried kind of nose in, of all different makes and models. We're looking around, and I wanted to find a couple of old Dodges or Chryslers, and like, this is it. This is an old Chrysler. It looks to be like an old Imperial or something, like an old airport car. And back in the day, they didn't have SUVs, right? They didn't have minivans. So this is what they used. They used these massive stretched road cars. This is awesome. This thing is cool.
Okay, so Mike has asked me to tell you what I think about this car because he just raves about it. But I like my modern cars like the Hellcat. And honestly, by any normal modern measure, this car is horrendous. But there is something about it that's kind of amazing. That the fact that it's still going. Because if it gets too hot, it's going to blow. And if it gets behind a car, it's going to blow. And if I go too fast, it's going to blow. Unless I can go really fast, in which case it'll be fine. But then here's the thing again about it. Once you've driven this for a couple of miles, you forget all of these things. You forget you're boiling. You forget every pore in your body is running with sweat. You forget you can hardly hear, and the windows are open. It doesn't really matter because this car is amazing.
So obviously on this trip, one of the main goals was to connect with some Dodge enthusiasts. So we're here at the Red Rock Amphitheater with Dan Franzini. And so Dan, give me an idea of why you chose this place for us to meet with you.
Well, first of all, I grew up here in Denver.
Okay.
And first concert ever was at Red Rocks, and there's really not a more beautiful scenic spot to pick. But really, why are you here with that car driving cross country?
Our whole thing was driving something that was fun and exciting across the country, right? And we actually picked the wrong car to drive across the country. We've been battling heat, we've been battling overheating, we've been battling gas fumes and everything else. But you know what? We made it, and it's here, which is good. One of the first things I found out about you was that you had a 68. You obviously know that I have a 68, so it's kind of there's a soft spot. So walk me through this thing, because I love it, I love it.
Yeah, thank you. So this is my 1968 Dodge Charger. It's a 440 four-speed car. I've done a couple things to it. It has aluminum radiator with dual fans. I kind of rerouted the fuel system a little bit.
I guess you kind of need that here.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
With the altitude, you're always struggling tuning the car,
Right,
etc.
right.
Always gives you something to do.
Yeah.
Switched it over to disc brakes,
Okay.
just for safety's sake and with nothing else. Upgraded the suspension, put a big old front sway bar in.
Okay.
Tied up the subframes, so it has subframe connectors, just made the car a lot more solid. And then when I put in the 4-speed, I did all the liner, so the sound dynamic stuff, made it much more quiet inside, kind of kept some heat out.
So it feels kind of normal.
Kind of normal. So this is a straight line, go fast car, not worry about cornering, and then you have to stop it too.
You do need brakes.
So.
Right, that's always a bonus. The 68 Charger is obviously my favorite Mopar of all time, but I know you brought something else.
Yeah.
So
I have my 70 Cuda. This car I really thought would look good, sort of with a Pro Touring vibe, and I wanted just a little bit different slant to a traditional, numbers matching stock car. So I bumped up the wheels to 18x8s and 18x10s.
Okay.
Added some of the Hotchkiss sport suspension, but I kept the 340 six-barrel in there.
Oh, good. Okay, so
as well.
you have the heritage in there.
Yeah.
This is the stuff that I still can't believe that Dodge and Mopar actually did back in the day.
Maybe I'm a little biased because I'm a Dodge guy, but they are so easy to spot. They just stand out. And that's always been the truth with Dodge. They've always made something that is just so far different from everybody else. They had the vivid colors. They had
Right,
the
exactly.
models that were not even close to anything else.
Right. This is a Tuesday in Colorado. Nobody wants to go to work. They'd rather just hang out with Mopars.
So we were getting on the freeway, and I made a right or a left-hand turn. And in the back of the car is a jack that is not fastened down in a little box, and it slid over and it pinched the harness for the fuel pump and grounded the harness, the wire for the fuel pump, and then it blew the fuse.
And this is why you always bring a Colin on every road trip you do.
And a spare 20 amp fuse.
And a spare 20 amp fuse.
Pretty hot in here. Like that. Love it.
Thanks for coming out.
Dude, how are you?
Good, thanks, Mike.
Oh my God. I'm gonna say right off the bat, I hate you, but I love you at the same time. Is that a Mr. Norm's van?
That's Mr. Norm's van.
What?
77 Dodge Tradesman with the 440 and a Dana.
Where did you find this?
I found this 4 doors down from my house in Naperville.
This is the original Mr. Norm's van, right?
Yep, Mr. Norm owned it in 1977 to 1980 and took his family to Aspen in it. And then it went missing because my neighbor had it.
And nobody knew? He just did.
He didn't even know who Mr. Norm was.
So he bought this, looking like this, had no clue of the significance of the van,
Yep,
and just drove it around.
just drove it around and took his family to Branson, Missouri every summer in it. And what's cool is the lady that painted it, her name and the date when she painted the mural is on the other side.
Okay, so this is obviously, what did this start out as? Because obviously you modified the hell out of it.
Yep, it's a real U code, so it's a real 440 car.
Okay.
It was B5 blue.
Okay. So why'd you go Panther pink?
It's my favorite color.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's just when I see pink and sassy grass and purple,
Yeah.
those high impact colors, they make you hyper.
This is beautiful. It's a 70 Charger 500. Is it a real 500?
Yep, it's a real 500.
Okay.
George Cubis, who's a legend in the Hemi world, he built the car. He's a well-known man. He's 70 years old. Him and his cousin Billy built it. The carbs are date coded, the intake's date coded, the manifolds are date coded, the air cleaner's date coded. So they really went nuts to try and make this like a real Hemi car.
Can I drive something?
Take your pick, man.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the Cat's fast, the fastest. This thing's got the TVS, it handles great, and that's got a 528, so you have your choice. I mean, and then they got the van, but I don't know if you guys want to showcase that.
What you need to understand is that back in the day, Norm Kraus, or Mr. Norm as he was known, was the premier name in Pentastar tuning, and his Grand Spalding dealership was considered hallowed ground to many purists. Thus, getting to pilot his personal van was akin to going for a ride in a shag-upholstered time machine. And, while it was an experience I'll never forget, the Woodward Dream Cruise was in sight, so it was time to get back on the road.
Let's go. Parts are breaking. So we finally made it to the Woodward Dream Cruise, and we're standing here at the Dodge booth in front of the new 2017 Dodge Daytona. Now, at first I wasn't really sure what to make of the Daytona, considering, well, we drove here in a 1969 version. Now, this is so much more than I originally thought. We're talking a 392, big 20-inch wheels wearing 275 series rubber, and, well, 485 horsepower. Think of the 2017 as a Hellcat Light, and you'll see where I'm going with this. The key here is fun, and that's what Dodge is known for.
So here's the thing. Driving across the country is one thing, but being invited to run against the boys from Roadkill in a drag race in front of 25,000 people, well, that's something else altogether. At this moment, I'm about to race Mike Finnegan in the Dirt Track Challenger. So, if I lose, it'll be so painfully big that it'll be one of the most embarrassing moments in my automotive career. The other huge concern, And the one I'm more worried about is scratching a very special, really expensive borrowed helmet.
Oh my God. He's got such a small head. Wow. So tight. I looked at that car and it really does look like a bucket, but I still feel like they've got like a 200 shot in it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest smile I've seen on Colin all week.
Oh my God. That's full redemption for the Daytona. That was a proper ass kick. I'm not bummed at that at all. If I had to lose to somebody, at least I get to lose somebody cool.
Dude, that was fun.
I can't believe we drag race in front of all these people.
I can't believe my car didn't blow up.
Making memories are what road trips are all about. From meeting fellow enthusiasts to running at Roadkill Nights and ultimately making it to the Woodward Dream Cruise. These experiences spawn from a single passion that bonds us all together. To put it simply, we love to drive.
If you like this episode of The House of Muscle and want to see more, there's a brand new one available right now on MotorTrend On Demand. So normally I wouldn't find myself lying underneath the belly of a car. However, this is no ordinary car. What you are looking at is quite possibly the greatest Plymouth Belvedere ever made. Well, a solid 1,600 horsepower at 20 pounds of boost. It's so fast!
Each new episode of The House of Muscle premieres exclusively on MotorTrend On Demand. So sign up for a free 30-day trial and watch the latest episode now.
Right here is my first wound of the trip. Colin undid the ball shifter on the stick, and I went in to grab something. I chafed it. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. That's right.